Life does not wait for you to be ready. It does not pause while you gather the courage to face your struggles. Every second you spend hesitating, making excuses, or waiting for the perfect moment is a second wasted, one you will never get back. The truth is, no one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the life you dream of. If you want to be strong, if you want to be respected, if you want to live a life that matters, then you must take responsibility fully, completely, and without hesitation. You have the power to change your life, but that power comes at a cost. It demands sacrifice, discipline, and a relentless commitment to growth. It demands that you stop blaming others, that you stop making excuses, and that you start confronting the hardest truths about yourself. It will not be easy, but nothing of real value ever is. So ask yourself, are you willing to face the discomfort, the struggle, and the responsibility that greatness requires? Because the life you want is waiting for you, but you must have the courage to reach for it. Life is a complex, unforgiving journey. It does not reward passivity. It does not make room for those who refuse to engage with reality. If you want to live a life of significance, if you want to be someone worth remembering, you must first take responsibility for yourself. No one else is coming to save you. No one else is responsible for fixing the problems you refuse to face. The first step toward a meaningful life is accepting that every choice, every action, and every outcome ultimately comes down to you. Happiness is a weak goal. It is fleeting, momentary, and often dependent on circumstances beyond your control. Instead, aim for meaning. Meaning is found in responsibility, in struggle, in pushing beyond your comfort zone. A life without meaning is a life wasted. You must strive towards something greater than yourself. You must create structure, build discipline, and force yourself to rise even when it's difficult. Honesty is the foundation of strength. If you spend your life avoiding conflict, biting your tongue, or pretending to be someone you are not, you will end up resentful, weak, and lost. Speaking the truth, even when it is uncomfortable, is the only path to real strength. If you do not stand for what is true, you will fall for what is easy. And what is easy often leads to a life of regret. Happiness is a fleeting emotion, unpredictable and unstable. It comes and goes like the weather, dependent on circumstances that are often outside of your control. If you make happiness your primary goal in life, you will always be at the mercy of external forces seeking pleasure, avoiding pain, and constantly chasing something that slips through your fingers the moment you grasp it. But meaning is different. Meaning is deep, lasting, and unshakable. It is not something you stumble upon. It is something you build through responsibility, struggle, and purpose. A meaningful life is not necessarily an easy life. It is a life that demands effort, sacrifice, and commitment. You do not find meaning in endless comfort. You find it in the moments when you push beyond your limits, when you take on responsibilities that force you to grow, when you confront the challenges that others avoid. A life of meaning is a life of purpose, and purpose requires you to aim higher than just feeling good in the moment. It requires you to become someone worthy of respect, not just from others, but from yourself. If you live only for happiness, you will choose the easiest path, the one that offers the least resistance. But that path leads nowhere. It leaves you empty, unfulfilled, and weak. The real path, the meaningful path, is the one that forces you to carry a burden, to become strong, to face adversity head-on and come out better on the other side. The struggle itself is what gives life depth. The sacrifices you make, the difficulties you endure, and the goals you strive for, those are the things that give your life meaning. So stop asking what will make me happy and start asking what will make me strong, what will make me valuable, what will make me proud of who I become. Meaning is not given to you, it is earned. And the moment you choose to seek meaning over happiness, you will realize that true fulfillment comes not from what you take, but from what you give, what you build, and who you become in the process. No one is coming to rescue you. No one will suddenly appear and fix everything that is broken in your life. If you are waiting for the world to change before you take action, you will wait forever. The truth is, your life is entirely your responsibility. The good, the bad, the successes, the failures, all of it. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can take control and start shaping your future instead of being a victim of your past. It is easy to blame circumstances, to point fingers at others, to say that life is unfair, but what does that accomplish? Complaining does not change reality. Excuses do not build strength. The only thing that moves you forward is the willingness to stand up and take full ownership of your situation, no matter how difficult it may be. You may not be responsible for everything that has happened to you, but you are responsible for how you respond. That is where your power lies. That is where real change begins. Taking responsibility means no longer allowing yourself to be controlled by fear, by self-doubt, by the failures of the past. It means looking in the mirror and being brutally honest about where you are and what needs to change. It means setting a higher standard for yourself and refusing to settle for anything less. This is not an easy path. It requires discipline, it requires sacrifice, it requires you to stop looking for shortcuts and start doing the hard work that real growth demands. But there is freedom in responsibility. The moment you take ownership of your life, you realize that you are not helpless, you are not powerless. You have the ability to create something better, to rise above your circumstances, to become the person you were meant to be. So stop waiting, stop blaming, stop wishing things were different, take responsibility, take action, and take control. Your future is in your hands, and what you do next will define who you are. Truth is not just a set of words, it is the foundation of strength, integrity, and real progress. When you refuse to speak the truth, you betray yourself first. You create a life built on avoidance, on half-truths, on comforting lies that may feel easier in the moment, but ultimately leave you weak and directionless. Truth is painful at times, but avoiding it is far worse. It festers beneath the surface, corroding your confidence, damaging your relationships, and keeping you stuck in a life that is far less than it could be. Speaking the truth is not about being cruel or reckless. It is about being courageous. It is about standing up for what is real, even when it is inconvenient, even when it makes you uncomfortable. Because if you do not tell the truth, you will find yourself living in a world where nothing is certain, where your words lose meaning, where you become lost in a web of excuses and justifications. Truth provides clarity. It allows you to see where you are, where you need to go, and what must be done to get there. There will be moments when telling the truth will cost you. It may make people angry. It may create conflict. But what is the alternative? Living in denial, pretending everything is fine when it is not? That is not strength. That is surrender. Real strength is standing firm in what you know to be right, even when your voice shakes, even when the easier path is to stay silent. When you choose truth, you choose growth. You choose to confront reality instead of running from it. You build trust with others, and more importantly, you build trust with yourself. You develop the kind of character that cannot be broken by hardship because you are grounded in something real. The world needs more people willing to say what is true, to face what is difficult, to take responsibility for their words and actions. Do not be the person who avoids reality. Be the person who faces it head on with courage, with conviction, and with the unshakable power that only truth can bring. People often think of discipline as a form of restriction, a set of rules that limit freedom and take away joy. But the reality is the opposite. Discipline is what gives you control over your life. Without it, you are at the mercy of your emotions, impulses, and the chaos of the world around you. The person who lacks discipline is not free. They are trapped in bad habits, in procrastination, in a life dictated by circumstance rather than intent. True freedom comes when you develop the ability to control yourself, to direct your energy towards something meaningful rather than being tossed around by distractions and momentary pleasures. People who resist discipline often struggle the most. They seek freedom in laziness, in avoiding responsibility and chasing comfort, but they find themselves anxious, lost, and frustrated. The disciplined person, on the other hand, builds a life they do not need to escape from. They train their mind and body to work for them, not against them. They eliminate unnecessary distractions, focus on what truly matters, and push through discomfort to create something better. There is no progress without truth, and the hardest truths to face are the ones about yourself. It is easy to point fingers, to blame circumstances, to believe that life has been unfair to you, but real change begins the moment you stop making excuses and start looking in the mirror with absolute honesty. You are not as disciplined as you could be. You are not as strong as you should be. You let distractions pull you away from your goals. You let fear stop you from speaking up, from taking action, from becoming who you are meant to be. These are not comfortable realizations, but they are necessary. Avoiding the truth about yourself does not protect you, it weakens you. When you refuse to acknowledge your flaws, you stay trapped in them, you repeat the same mistakes, you fall into the same patterns, you become a victim of your own denial. But when you face the truth, no matter how painful, you gain power. You see what needs to be fixed. You see where you are falling short. And more importantly, you see that you have the ability to change it. Taking responsibility for your weaknesses does not mean beating yourself up. It means committing to improvement. It means acknowledging where you lack discipline and making a plan to strengthen it. It means confronting your insecurities instead of letting them dictate your decisions. It means recognizing the areas where you have failed and using them as lessons instead of burdens. Growth is not about perfection. It is about constant, deliberate effort. Facing the hard truths about yourself is uncomfortable, but it is the only path to real transformation. You cannot build a strong life on a weak foundation. You must be willing to dismantle what is broken, to rebuild what is lacking, to put in the work required to become the best version of yourself. No one else can do this for you. You must choose it. You must commit to it. And when you do, you will discover that the person you are capable of becoming is far greater than the one you have been avoiding. Freedom is not the absence of rules, it is the mastery of them. A disciplined person is a free person. If you wake up every day without a plan, without a structure, without a guiding principle, you will drift. And drifting leads to nowhere worth going. The strongest individuals are not those who abandon structure, but those who embrace it, refine it, and use it to elevate themselves. The more disciplined you become, the more freedom you will have to build the life you want. And perhaps most importantly, you must be brutally honest with yourself. You must face your own weaknesses, your own failures, your own fears. It is easy to pretend you have nothing to fix. It is easy to blame others for where you are. But self-deception is a slow poison. If you do not confront your faults, they will rule you from the shadows. The greatest people in history were not perfect. They were willing to acknowledge their flaws and work relentlessly to improve.